motion to certify closed session for 2 items under Virginia Code 2.2-3711A, 2 items personnel matter, and 1 item under Virginia Code 2.2-3711A, consultation with legal counsel regarding a specific legal matter.
So moved.
Second. Roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Pons?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dawson?
Aye. Are there any motions for modification to the agenda?
Mr. Vice Mayor, make a motion that we add modification agreement entered into between the town, and the PSA at the appropriate place.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Pons?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dawson?
Aye. We'll go ahead and do the consent agenda. There's a motion consideration for the February 15th, 2022 council meeting minutes.
I'm going to approve February 15th, 2022 council meeting minutes as written.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Pons?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dawson?
Aye. And I'll motion for the agreement with the county.
Yeah, Mr. Vice Mayor, I make a motion that we,
I was gonna say, we have a note, from Ms. Sternberg to speak, and it's about that matter. I didn't know.
You want to do it before the public speaking? That's what you want to do.
I can do it during public speaking.
Okay. I apologize, I just wanted to make it clear.
Well, let's hold on that.
I think what she's saying is you can go ahead and move forward with it, and she can, say what she wants to during the public comment session, because it wasn't otherwise an agenda item.
I see. Mr. Mayor, I make a motion that we authorize Vice Mayor Dawson to execute the modification agreement between the town, the Pulaski County, and the Pulaski County Public Service Authority dated 28 February 2022.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Penn?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Aye.
Mr. Pons?
Aye.
Mr. Reese?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Dawson?
Aye. All right, so we actually didn't have public comment listed on the agenda, but so this time we'll do public comment period, and I'll ask Ms. Terry Steinberg if you want to come forward, please.
Thank you. Okay, so I'm Terry Sternberg. I live at 526 North Washington Avenue. I've lived in Pulaski the whole time I've lived here, which is 26 years. And what is the modification agreement that you just referred to, if you don't mind, Mr. Reese?
It's an agreement to renew, it without getting into the legal nitty-gritty of it, it's an agreement that extends the refuse agreement and the billing of that refuse agreement between the town, the county, and the PSA for a certain period of time. And
So,
it changes some of the other terms and modifications of it about renewal and cancellation.
so, because I was going to speak about my concern about not continuing the billing service, so am I hearing that you all are going to continue the billing service with the
So it's
PSA?
extended for continued communication between us and the PSA.
Okay, until what time? What's the time frame?
The extension's through September 3rd.
Okay. So if you don't mind, I would like to just express my concerns about what I've heard and read. Talked to Mr. Linkus, I talked to Ms. Burcham, thank you for your time last Friday. I certainly try to be informed about this so that when I do come and speak to y'all, I feel like I have at least as good of information as I possibly can. I know things have changed probably in terms of demographics between 2002 and today. But when I read what some of the concerns were for bringing about the billing service under the town of Pulaski for town citizens like myself, it seemed to make such good sense. And I'm concerned that by peeling that back, and saying we're no longer gonna provide that billing service to our residents, that you're going to have a lot of unintended consequences. I think you're going to have, as you've had confusion over who's providing service when people call to complain, as soon as you peel that back and we're no longer doing the billing, people have to arrange for their own garbage pickup, talk to the PSA people, arrange for 2 bills to come in. I think some of the issues that came up 20 years ago to cause the billing service to happen is all gonna come back with a lot of confusion, a lot of questions by town residents that you sought to eliminate. And I'm really concerned that you're gonna have a lot of unintended consequences. I don't, in my looking around the situation, I don't understand why this is even necessary, frankly. The income that we get from the 5% rebate or $30,000, whichever is greater, is relatively a good bit of money for y'all, for income, for the town. I don't think the service that we provide is that costly. The questions that people raise about why isn't my trash getting picked up could very easily be referred to the PSA. If PSA isn't handling that adequately, we can all put some pressure on them to do a better job of communicating and working with the public. But if you pull back that billing service, I'm concerned, what's PSA gonna do? And I think I heard that last night at the Board of Supervisors meeting, there was actually talk about if you all quit the billing service, they may quit picking up our trash, and then you gotta hire out trash service. Have you all heard that? That may be the consequence on the county side or PSA side?
I believe we've heard those.
I just think it's gonna create a real rat's nest of concern that we don't need to have. For what it takes to bill, doesn't seem like it's worth undoing for all the stuff that will fall out of that. And I just wanna let you know that I'm concerned about that decision. And I don't understand how it's gonna benefit us that much. And, I've heard concerns about all the hassles we have with answering PSA matters, but I'm not one of those that complains. In fact, I would be the first in line to say that they do above and beyond what the contract calls for picking up my trash and my neighbor's trash. Because if the limit is 2 cans for my residents and they pick up stuff I brought out of my basement when I was giving pest treatment, I had a pile that was huge, and they picked that up while they were making that weekly round. We're getting a great service out of those guys that we should not actually even be getting under the contract. So I just want you to know, I care very deeply for everybody cooperating well and figuring this thing out so that we're not creating more trouble than it's worth. I'm just afraid it's gonna be a real nightmare when you guys proceed with pulling back that billing service. And if you have anything you'd like to share with me to educate me, I'd be glad to hear it, so.
If I may say, we are concerned about what we're getting and because we're the ones billing our town residents. And so it's our obligation as the people who are taking that money and shutting people's water off to make sure that we're getting the best service we can for our residents and we're getting a good value for their dollar. And that we weren't, so I understand the concern of the unintended consequences of doing something, but there's unintended consequences of not doing something. Not engaging with this process and not making sure that we are, that we're getting a good value for the service that we provide, and we're also making sure we're getting a good value for our citizens for the service that they're paying for. And so, we can't do that if we just leave things for 20 years and never change it. Because things, like you said, demographics change, lots of other things change over 20 years. So, we have an obligation, I believe, to at least have that conversation. And that's what we're doing. We're having a conversation with the county, having a conversation with the PSA, and as you've noticed, and as I've said to other people, in the past 7 years they've raised the trash rates twice. We didn't see anybody from the PSA in front of this town council. And there's folks here who've been here for even longer than I have, and they'll tell you we don't hear from the PSA when they want more money, but suddenly when we want something, we get service. So, I mean, you know, I would say that, you know, we need to be, you know, the consequences, there's consequences no matter what.
Do people get their water cut off because they haven't paid their
It's all the
PSA
same
bill?
bill.
Huh?
If you have a $60, if you have I have an $80 town water bill, you know, it's all on one sheet. If I pay $60 just for my water and sewer, and I don't pay the $20 for the town, I get my water cut off. And which is the same, the PSA does the same thing in their service areas where they provide water, sewer, and trash. But as you heard from Mr. Linkous, if people don't pay if people just get trash pickup and they don't pay, they still get their trash picked up.
Going forward with Speaker Council, I think that you said you had spoke or went supervisor commission, and you heard one side of it. There's also two sides of everything. And as we're going forward, we're still talking. Nobody's ending nothing.
Yeah, but you said the paper, it's a done deal, and you're to
Well,
you.
Yeah,
So
before,
that doesn't give me much hope, you know?
well,
If you've made it a done deal,
come right here and sit down and talk to our manager.
you know, I did.
She, you know, she'd be more than glad to
I have
explain
done-
the
I have
agency.
done that. But I just think, you know, I'm wearing this shirt today because I was at the pep rally for Pulaski Elementary School from the PCPC group. And that they do the pep rally by virtue of having a fire drill. That's how they get everybody out, so we can all give them our appreciation and lots of kudos. And those little munchkins from kindergarten on up are absolutely treasures when it comes to knowing how to do a fire drill. And they all cooperated, they all did exactly what they were supposed to do, and I was just so impressed. And cooperation leads to mutual flourishing. Everybody is more cost effective, more efficient. Everybody wins when you're working well together. I want you all to work well with the county and the PSA, please. Because otherwise, we're showing our children that once you get a little bit older, you don't have to cooperate. You don't have to talk it through. You don't have to work it out. And I would rather my town council members not be quoted saying it's a done deal, in my opinion. You know, I read that. And that doesn't instill confidence in me that you're going to be working through the process. I'm glad you've extended it to September. Because I think it feels like the penalty is worse than the problem. Well, just please work it out. That's all I'm trying to say. Because I just feel like, you know, I don't want to see my trash bill go up because we're losing PSA service and you've got to hire it out to somebody and y'all aren't members of the landfill group, so then you're going to have our trash taken elsewhere besides the landfill. I mean, I just think it's just going to be a real messy thing if y'all work out. So I'm just making a plea. Please try to work it out. Thank you.
Well, thank you for coming.
And I will comment to the PSA, the concern I heard from Ms. Burcham, about their lack of responsiveness. I left a message with Mr. Linkous. If you've got work to do to improve, please work on it. So I'm coming at all sides of this thing, okay? Trying to listen to both sides and understand it. But what we accomplished with the building service agreement to reduce a lot of issues, it feels like we're gonna get some of those issues back when you rescind it. So, anyway, thank you.
And we
I hope I didn't
appreciate you
take too
coming.
much of
You're
your
fine.
time.
We appreciate you talking about it, and
Yeah.
we share some of your concerns, and just understand that we extended that
Yeah.
timeframe, with true respect, and,
Right.
you know, for this council and the town doing due diligence
I appreciate
through that
that.
process. I can assure you that we won't go through that process with blind action.
Yeah, I
You know,
appreciate
that
it.
will be with respect to the cost to our citizens, and with respect to the service to the citizens, and respect to the fact that, you know, we would prefer to function,
Yeah.
within the county, whereas that's to the best benefit of our citizens. And
Yeah.
so, all of your concerns are on the table with us as we go through that process, but we do need to go through that process to do it perfectly.
I'm fine with that. I love it. I love that you're doing more than the 90-day, everything. I just really appreciate that. I really do. The thing that concerns me is that I think we're trying to handle a lot of complex situations, and doing it all evenly across all the boards is really tricky, I know. Enforcement of codes is tricky, but as I told Ms. Burcham, we can be trying to squash this thing over here, and there's more things that need to be dealt with over here. And I pointed out a house, did you ever get a chance to see 306 Cliff Street? What do you think?
Is one that's under enforcement, and if you want,
Yeah.
excuse me, if you want, I'll have our code enforcement person give you a call.
I mean, there's stuff around in town, people throw out litter. I walked from my church at Fifth and Washington, not even a block to get to Toscano to eat, and I picked up handfuls of trash on my way. Our people don't care. Our people don't care about litter. They don't care what kind of crap's on the ground, around their houses. So we need to develop an atmosphere of everybody caring about the looks of our town. And I just think we need to really, be Pulaski Town proud and Pulaski County proud. And I'll do everything I can to help us all get ahead. I really am. I want to be a team player with y'all. I just want to express my concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, that will bring us to council comments on the agenda. Mr. Bean? Mr. Ruckman?
No, thank you.
I was curious if we have an update with the parking lot.
The one that we've requested the lease with the county, I'm still waiting for the county administrator to return the draft lease that we have put in front of them. He's told me several times he's working on it, but in the meantime, I have had Mr. Pedigo speak with AEP in order to find a better lighting situation internal to that parking lot, and you may or may not have noticed that a couple of the lights on Washington, particularly at the intersection of Washington and 3rd, and then one that would shed some light on the parking lot. Those have been out, and we've asked AEP to repair them as soon as possible. We also plan to restrike once we have control of the lot, but they've had that lease for, I would say, a month. More than a month. So we're just waiting.
I had someone asking that today. That's all.
Nothing, sir. And I would just like to say, before we get to the manager's report, and hopefully positive towards, the working together. This last couple of weeks ago, we got a chance to go through our first 2x2 meeting with the county. An initiative, struck by the county board and the town council to make sure that on a monthly basis that those two groups were communicating about what actions they have going on and energy that they have going on, to make sure as much of that can be shared and opportunities to build off each other or with each other to make sure we don't miss those opportunities. So as much energy as there are to try and make sure our houses are in order, there's also as much energy out there to make sure that we're working together in every way that we possibly can too. And sometimes what we hear may be more of the negative side of things, and those positive works don't necessarily hit the ground running quite as hard. But I think it's important to know that energy is out there and being worked on diligently each month. So that's all I have. So that'll take us to our manager's report.
Council knows that I have been anxious to fill a position to really address a number of those outdoor recreational opportunities that we have with our ARPA money, and I'm pleased to say that we offered that position today, and the gentleman will be starting to work on Monday, and so we hope to hit the ground running on that. I also learned yesterday that the playground equipment that we purchased with ARPA funds and a partial contribution by the Gatewood operator, that will actually be installed, that new playground equipment, on Monday. So it'll be just in time for the campers when that season opens. We have signed the contract for the skate park and ordered all the materials that are necessary, the fencing, the lighting, the goalpost, have a contract for the striping. So we should be seeing all of that in the next 30 to 45 days. So it's going to be an exciting time. If the weather holds, we'll be able to get a lot of these things in place. But appreciate the support of the council in making those things happen, and hopefully we'll see real progress once we get that position on board and really working at restoring our playgrounds. We do have a bid for the pickleball striping, and so you'll see that fairly soon too.
Thank you, Ms. Burcham. All right, with that, well, just a reminder of future council meetings on March 15th. Closed session starting at 5 and public session starting at 6:30. And with that, we'll adjourn. Everybody vote. Aye. Aye.